TGIF. Hope you all have had a wonderful week. I know you are ready for the weekend to begin. So, welcome to the JustAskChar advice channel. We will be getting started very soon. So get comfortable, get ready, and relax. We sincerely thank you all for your support. This channel is sponsored by you, the subscribers. When you want to hear another perspective for yourself or a friend, then just send an email for advice to justaskchar@gmail.com. All right, we are ready to get this show started. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend. There will always be a perspective or some advice that someone can benefit from and use. Now, here's your host of the show, Char Willie.
Greetings, 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 greetings. How are you? What's going on? TGIF, everyone. Whew, has it been a long week for you as it has been for me? I don't know. I think it was about maybe 8 days this week between Monday to Friday. I think it was about 8 days squeezed up in there. It's been a little challenging, but I hope you guys are having a good start of the weekend. Let's enjoy what we have ahead of us, and hopefully we can. What's been going on? A lot. We have schools about to open up again in Chicago. They sending these kids back to school. I'm like, what is going on? It was hinted at one time, so it's really not a surprise. But you do have an option, so that's good. You do have an option. And it's not many people, families that are willing to send their kids back out there. So, so far, there's not going to be any punishment about that. You have a choice right now. And as far as with these vaccinations, I keep hearing all kind of stuff. I don't know which direction I hear. Oh, we have so many. Well, we're going to do these people first. Well, we still have some testing to do. Oh, well, we might do it this way, we might do it that way. So I don't know what's going on. So I can't even report on that one. Let's see what else is happening. I hope you guys had a great holiday last week. It kind of went quickly. It's like it was over with before it even began. I mean, you have your what, Thursday, and you look up, you back to work. Hope you had a great Black Friday. Hope you had a great Cyber Monday because there weren't many people out in the street. People shopped online, and a lot of people are just buying what they need. They like forget this just buying just to be buying just because it's on sale or it looks nice and shiny and bright. You know, at this point, people are just trying to hold on and make it, and they should. You got to be wise at these times. You know, winter is here. What it takes more fuel to keep warm. That's inside the car as well as in your home. So, you know, that bill is going up. You didn't have that when it was warmer. And then the price of the things that we actually need has increased. And just that's just because we need it. So they know what to do. They like, oh, okay, 20 cents here, 50 cents over there. And even the gas tax has increased in Chicago. I don't know how much more can go up, but some kind of way it finds itself increasing. Oh yeah. All right, so enough of me bantering, and let's bring in the lovely and the classy classic Ruby, everybody.
Why, thank you. Thank you very much. Hello, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know you've missed me all week. I'm here. Don't worry. You can stop crying. You can stop crying. I'm here. Good evening, Shar. How are you doing?
I am well. How are you?
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. I'm looking forward to this one. Tell you what, I always wonder with your titles because you always surprise me. The title will come, and then I hear it, and I'm like, oh, that's not what I thought at all. And I feel like this is going to be one of those. I really do.
That's wonderful. I am so glad.
Hmm.
There's
It's
nothing
nice.
wrong with a little mystery.
That's what I'm saying, right? It's nice to be surprised now and then. I mean, man, people are so predictable these days. So yeah, I like to be surprised. It tickles me.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that we get some people to, you know, join in because, you know, it's kind of hard to find people to be honest, you
Hmm.
know, because people are concerned about being judged.
Yes.
And you don't find many people doing that. And I just would like people to be honest. I mean, have an honest conversation so people can learn. Because if you just repeat what everyone else is saying, you're not going to get anywhere. You're just not.
Hmm.
And sometimes the truth is ugly. Let it be. At least it's the
Right.
truth, you know?
Right? Like, learn from me. Like, I tell the truth. It's insane. And guess what? I don't spontaneously combust. I don't start to melt. My life doesn't end. No, right? It just is what it is. People might look at me like, man, that girl's crazy. So, like, who cares? Like, I mean, honestly, worst case scenario, fine. Everyone's judging you. You don't know these people. So just tell the truth anyway, right? It'll be a good practice for telling like the real people in your real life the truth, right? You just see how people judge you. And if no one cares, you're going to be like, oh, man, I was feeling so weird about being honest and it wasn't that bad. It actually felt kind of refreshing. You see? So just try it out, y'all. Come over here, try it out. We promise we don't bite, not too hard. You know, definitely maybe give a little bit of side eye. I can't lie, but it's not gonna be too bad. Promise. At the end of the day, it don't hurt too bad. Okay.
This is true.
Mhm.
Yeah, I find that a lot. I, you know, get a lot of pushback when it comes to honesty. And I just going to embrace and continue to embrace it. You
Mhm.
know, I'm going to get what I'm going to get, and that's okay. All right. Well, eh,
Mhm.
nothing wrong with being different. It is what it is. Hmm.
But like different from what? See, this is the thing that people don't realize. Because they're so busy front and trying to fit in with Group A, they don't realize they actually belong in Group C, and that there's a whole group of people who think and feel just like they do. But you'll never know that if you're so busy, pretending you think like what you think everyone else in the world thinks like. Like, don't do that. That's how you find your people, right? Is you just be
Hmm.
honest, and then someone's gonna be like, yeah, I hear you. Like, I actually get emails from people who say that. Now they don't say it on the stream in the chat
Right.
room because they chicken, fine. But they make sure to tell me behind the scenes, and they'll say like, "Oh yeah, I'm so sick and tired of people, not being honest about this. Thanks, Ruby." Like, trust me,
Hmm.
more people than you think like you. Even if you don't think like me, even if you don't think like Shar, me and Shar almost never think the same.
Hmm.
And it's fine. You know what I mean? Like, I prefer people who are honest. And especially ones who are honest but think nothing like me. This is why I love Vonda. This is why I love you, because y'all come and I'm like, what? But it's like it's so genuine, right? And then you get to
Yeah.
really learn about other people.
Exactly. We all have different experiences in different places in our lives, and sometimes it's just real common. A lot of times we're mostly average people. I mean,
Mm,
unless you're rich or whatever, then your experiences are totally different. But in general, you know,
mhm.
we're kind of average.
Yeah, right? Come on.
Yeah,
Nobody's that original, seriously.
that's right. Or we'll be rich.
Hmm.
All right. So I will play the letter. I have a letter today from a guy, and it reads, Dear Shar, every time I meet a beautiful woman, she wants to become friends. I want her as a girlfriend, not a friend. I have seen many of these women with other guys, and some were jerks or straight up a-holes. I'm good looking, have a great job, and I have money, living in a house, and I've been very generous and thoughtful with these women. If I hear that I am such a nice guy one more time, I might get physical. I'm a great catch, but women treat me like a loser. What kind of help can you give? Thank you so much for your letter.
So much, so much. No, I'm actually, and I'm glad that this topic came up because I hear this line of thought a lot online, and I feel like it's missing a lot of stuff in between. And because it's missing a lot of stuff in between, people are not getting a real perception. And so the perception is, well, women like a-holes, right? Women like
Hmm.
jerks. That's what women like. So those are the guys who get the girl. Those are the guys who get married, and no one else does. And you're like, no, that's not accurate. So maybe you only continue to notice the jerks after the first jerk, but realistically, that's not what it is. It's just, see, like, in my opinion, right?
Hmm.
Jerks, that type of guy who's just so full of himself, he doesn't worry about asking for what he wants. He doesn't worry about making that plain from absolute day one, from second one. This is what he's about. And he doesn't mind letting you see it. And so that is the thing, that confidence, and that, listen, woman, I mean to pursue you. Listen, woman, I mean to get you in bed. Listen, woman, I plan to make you my wife. They don't mind telling you that on day one. Now, they might be jerks and all the other stuff too, but it's that. And see, that's the thing that these guys are missing, because all kinds of really nice guys have wives. Go
Yeah.
figure, right?
Yeah. I look at it as the best way I describe this is um, well, I'm kind of going, it's the same thing, but a little bit different. Okay. With the guy saying that he's a nice guy, we know how it's it's portrayed that they finish last. Okay. The way I look at it, a lot of guys are nice. It's just that some guys are just nicer than others, and that's the first thing a woman sees.
Mm,
And sometimes that isn't attractive to a
mm,
woman, if that makes sense.
mm-hmm,
Um, and I've heard many conversations about, the nice guy and all of that. And oh, okay, I'm gonna be a jerk. Well, why these women want that type of guy? Because they're mean and they're a jerk and all those type of things. But they get the women. And it's not that. It's just that niceness isn't just the first thing a woman sees.
mm, mm.
You know, when it, attraction is what it is. Um, Let me give you an example. You know how a fragrance, you smell different things, but there's one thing that hits you first, that top
Yes,
note.
yes. Mm-hmm.
The top note is what is attractive to us.
Right. Okay.
And that's the layer that we're looking at. That's the first thing that hits us. That's what we're drawn to.
Mm,
It's not the niceness if it's the top note. We may look over it. It's nice that it's there, but that's just not the appealing thing that we're looking for, I guess you would say.
mm. Okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's not a bad thing. Some people say it's not a masculine trait. No, it is. It's just if it's the top note, sometimes that's what cut a man from the pool.
Mm, okay, okay. See, and actually I totally get that. I would add something to that though, because see, women like to feel special, right? Just like men like the thrill
Hmm.
of the chase, and they don't want to be chasing or pursuing, the mattress of the block, right? Because she's not special, right? Everyone gets a turn. You don't even have to try. So why are you pursuing that, right? You're going to pursue something that's special. And likewise, women want to feel special. If you're a nice guy and that's what women comment on, then it's not that you're nice to her. It's that you are too nice in general. Like if you're nice to everybody, then it's not like she brings out something soft in you that makes you nice to her. It's not that she touches some part that brings out a little bit of your feminine side, right? It's just that you are a super overly nice guy and you're nice to everyone and everything. And sure, I guess you'll also be nice to her, but then that doesn't make her special. So even for the girls who like nice guys, and they really are actually
Hmm.
looking for nice. There are women who are like that. I like the nice nerdy guy. That's my type. But there's an element to that. You got to have some kind of rough edge somewhere that I don't get. You know what I mean? Like you got to
Yeah.
be like a little bit of a dick or maybe a little judgmental, something that you give to everyone else, and then when you're with me, I get something a little different. So it makes me feel special because I am so special. I brought this thing out of you.
Yeah. It's that top note. It just can't be niceness. And I'm thinking, this guy says, hey, I got all these things. I do this and I've done this for a woman, and this is what I get. There's another aspect I'm going to bring up, but I'm going to see who brings it up first. I'm not going to be the first one. And I'm going to see who brings it up first. And and I know it's going to come up. And then I'll discuss that, and then I'll share some of my experiences, and we'll get into it. Welcome to the panel, Vonda and DeAndre. Welcome. Welcome.
Hey.
Hey Shar, hey Ruby, hey
Hey,
Dre.
Vonda.
Thanks for
Hey,
having
Hello.
DeAndre.
Nice to see you.
Hey.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, buddy. This about to be
Uh-oh.
good.
Popping from the start. Popping from the start. Okay.
Okay, so let me just, just say my little piece. Now, in hearing the letter, the way this guy sounded, he just sounded very, very defeated and disappointed. And the more he sounds like that, the less he is going to get with the woman. And that's just the fact of the matter. Um, you have to realize that whether you know it or not, you know, women run into that same thing. You know, you hear the phrase, men like hoes. Okay, men love hoes, and that is a fact. And I'm just speaking generally. Men love hoes. I'm not going to say all men love hoes, but men love hoes. And, you'll have a girl that's like, well, I'm pretty, I'm beautiful, I have a job, I don't have any kids, and I'm not a hoe. And look, he's over there with that skank. That does happen. That does happen. So my thing is that let's just, take a step back and let's look at the women that you're seeing that are going for these asshole type guys. Are you actually looking at a woman who aesthetically is just beautiful and you see, oh, she's with an asshole, or she's with a jerk, or she's with this guy that's got like 20 women, and do you know this woman? Do you know the personality of this woman? And I'm going to venture to say maybe he doesn't know these women. He's looking at beautiful women and wondering why he doesn't have a beautiful woman. The reason he doesn't have a beautiful woman is because he's wondering why he doesn't have a beautiful woman. That's not something that you just sit there and you think and ponder on. You have to have confidence and be yourself, because at the end of the day, there's a woman that wants you, and she's not like what anybody would call a bottom barrel chick. You can get yourself a good looking, great woman who likes what she likes about you, So to me, it sounds like this guy it doesn't sound like he's getting any play, not just the play from the woman that he wants, but it doesn't sound like he's getting any play. Or he could be getting some attention from women that he's like, oh no, she's not pretty enough. I want to have Beyonce. I don't want the Kelly. I want the I want the Beyonce, not the Michelle. Let's just put it in text terms like that. I think he needs to stop worrying about what other people are doing. The letters sound, to me it sounded just really sad, and it sounds a little blamey, like I'm gonna blame her because she doesn't see the good in me, but she wants that asshole over there. Well, maybe that's not the chick you want. Maybe you don't want her. So don't blame her for what she likes.
That's very true.
If the men that like hoes, they let them love the hoes. I mean, if that's all he wanted was hoes, I don't want to be one of his lineups.
Well, like you said, like, and this is the thing, Vonda, right? I would like to take a moment of silence so we can say the incel prayer.
Oh God.
Here it comes, right? Here it comes.
Got my one finger up.
Here comes. Since Chandra's not here, I'm gonna have to open up the asshole corner.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have to do it. And as men, we all struggle with this, right? It's called what this man is suffering from is stage 3 friend zone, right? And like stage 1 friend zone is you can get some, but you're just not hitting the mark, right? You're not the first, you're not the second, you're not the third, but you're the 4th pick, right? And she'll actually tell you this, right? She'll say, you know what? I could see us being together, but I don't want to mess up our friendship. See, women will tell you in such a way not to hurt your feelings, right? If they go immediately to the I'm your friend, like I see you as a friend, you never had a snowball chance in hell of getting with it, right? But if she says I see you as a little brother, or big brother, she's looking at you like incest. Bro, go. Run in the other direction because you in category 3 terminal friend zone. So there's a way to fix this, right? And when you're terminal, and you got like when like a tumor or cancer, they got to remove that. They gotta cut it off like diabetes. You got to lose a leg or something, right? So you have to move on. Here's the problem with a lot of men, and they don't understand this. State your intention in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
First thing that turns a woman off, if you come in with that sneaky, I'm nice guy, I'm the cool guy, whatever you need. You need me to cut your lawn, I'm gonna drive an hour across town just to cut the lawn and just to smell your perfume and hand me a cold glass of Kool-Aid is all I need. But when the guy that states his intentions and then she's telling you about her relationship problems and you're giving her advice and you never stated your intention, you messing up. You're putting yourself in the friend zone before you even jumping into the friend zone. She didn't push you in the friend zone. You put yourself in the friend zone, right? And you expecting her to open it up. No, that doesn't work that way. And a lot of men, they don't understand that first you have to state your intention. It's better for her to cut you quick than to cut you long.
6 months later.
Right.
Yeah, 6 months later, right? You waiting 6 months, right? You thinking you gonna get it, and she ain't even looking at you like that. You all the scrotums are all huffed up, and you're all heated, and you didn't even get to go on a date yet.
You know what? I totally want to add to that because it's so true. And here's the thing. A lot of times these guys are watching a male type that is nothing like them and then wondering why that doesn't apply to them. So, for example, if you're not, 6'2" with the broad shoulders, the nice build, and then you just exude masculinity and raw, savage sexury, right? And no, because some guys have that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they have that. So even if they say something about being nice, or I could be your friend or whatever, she sees sex in his eyes, right? It's in that Foxy Brown song with sex in his eyes. He turned and then he said, like, if you know, right, that you aren't that guy, you can't run his game because it's a different world, right? So that guy doesn't have to make his intentions known verbally because everything he does physically makes his intentions known. He knows how to exude that with his body, his personality, the way he says every word, the way he looks at her for a moment too long or licks his lips when he does it. And you know what I mean? He's got that whole vibe, but that might not be you, right? And it's cool. You don't have to try to be that guy. What I'm saying though is if you don't exude that, if everyone could see you as a little brother or a friend or boyfriend or husband material, you have to say things out loud. Right. And it's like, you might think that that's unfair, but that's what it is, right? The girl who's less attractive, right? She has to develop a personality. Why? Because yes, the world is unfair, but you need another selling point because the girl who's the bombshell 10 don't have to say nothing, right? She doesn't have to develop a personality or an intelligence or whatever. She just walk out there in the middle of the streets and people will crash into each other staring at her. That might not be the two's experience, and she knows that, so she develops something else. And that's something I think these guys have to learn is stop trying to use the player's rules, because if you ain't the player and you aren't that guy, those rules don't apply to you.
They don't apply to you.
Yeah.
And I agree with Dre. I agree with you where you said, if the guy starts out being, hey, how are you? I'm, Mr. Friendly. And then, she's like, oh, hey, a friend, and then you become a friend. She's not looking at you like that. You didn't make any of those intentions known. That's not where her mind, was going. And you guys develop, just this friendship without any type of, attraction on her part. Whereas he may have been attracted to her from the gate. And you got to realize, in this world, there's only men and women. Those are only two type of people there are, just men and women, with regards to human beings. And, I have men friends and I have women friends, and I have some men friends who they're attractive. but I don't want to sleep with them. They are
Mhm.
so friend zoned that I wouldn't touch them with someone else's vagina.
Right.
Mhm.
That's how much of
Yes.
a friend they are to me. And then they want to kind of dip, into the pond. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Let's put the cross up, the two fingers together. No, it's not that type of party. And
Mhm.
then my thing is that I don't appreciate a man getting angry with me because I don't have that attraction when I never gave him that indication from the gate. I never gave him that. I
Mhm.
offered up friendship, and that's where it is. Because at the end of the day, people, let's just keep it, a buck. You can't sleep with everybody. Even if you try, you cannot sleep with everybody. And sometimes sex will ruin a friendship.
Oh yeah.
So
Uh,
there are guys that I am just strictly friends with, and that's all there is. Because a lot of guys, they will make that, what I would call the mistake of letting a girl who is a friend know way too much. And when she gets into your psyche and she sees how you are, if she's smart, she's like, you are one that I would never. But you're,
but
you're a great friend. You
I'm
feel
gonna
me?
say a few things, and then you guys can continue. It's like what I was mentioning with the top note. If that woman is just beautiful, that's her top note. The guy looked at her, that was it. That stood out. Way, hey. But with the guy, if he's just friendly, hey, how are you doing? I'll do this. Oh, let me get that for you. Oh, I'll do this. I do that. That's nice and appealing. But if it's just all niceness and it doesn't, and there's nothing that just stands out that's like masculine or, you know, kind of some kind of aggression, just something that just seems masculine, we don't like that top note that we see. We just like, oh, he's a good friend. Oh, he'd be a good buddy. I can use him around. If my tire go flat, he can change my tire.
Mhm.
Continue, everyone.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's like the other problem with that is, and I've seen this happen a lot of times, is we always make that joke. I paid good money for you, Diamond, right? Like that
Hmm.
that thing that happened,
Oh
with the guy
God.
on the Players Club, right? It's a joke, but it's actually serious, right? It's when women are they're very primal in when it comes to their instincts, right? Sometimes women will give you the benefit of the doubt, knowing better, but they'll watch you, right? And they'll see you. And sometimes they don't want to be your girlfriend and just be your friend because they see that you're too easy to manipulate. Like there's no force, there's no fight. It's like, okay, if you're so nice and let me get away with everything, then how you gonna lead? I could be leading us down the wrong street or something. Like, you just gonna let me do it? Like, you just, it's like, sometimes that, there it's a work together in progress, not a one person doing one thing and just following behind like a little puppy dog. The other thing is, if you're so nice, nice people don't protect nothing. Like, if you so nice and all wishy and stuff, what happened if something hit the fan? I need you to get on your horse, bro, and do something. Where's the protection? Like, I need to see all things. And if you're all mushy and putty and soft as cotton around me, then not if you're doing it around someone else, but it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to fall apart. You're too clingy. Is so much that's wrapped up in it. And wherever you start with someone is the consistency of where they want you to be at. And when I was younger, I had to figure that out, right? You
Mhm.
figure this out in your adolescence, right? You don't figure this out when you're 25, 35, 45 years of age. It's too late
Hmm.
now, right? You know what I'm saying? It's too late now because you can't be that person that you need to be. You're just going to have to find somebody that just loves cuddly, moist dudes. And it ain't really that many women
Why moist though?
moist too. Then you can't listen.
Gee,
Right?
Just being,
what a top note. Wow.
I'm just saying, like some women do like that. They like the little cuddly, moist stews, smelling
Yeah,
like
for
downy
someone. Hmm.
stuff. Yeah, all.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm like they do that, but with this guy is confusing them being jerks. No, he's not being a jerk. He's stating his intentions firmly. Like there's a difference between being a jerk. I'm a jerk. But I know there's a time and a place when to be a jerk and when not to be a jerk. You know what I'm saying? And there is a time and a place where you have to state, because think about it like this. It's like, okay, you're nice to her. You're a really nice guy. You're a pushover. Okay, so what if you not asserting yourself right in the workplace? What if they do something to you at work and then you're putting the family at jeopardy because you're making money and you're bringing it into the home, right? Then she's always got to sit up there and motivate your butt. Now you go in there, Bob, and you tell your boss that you want that promotion, right? She ain't got time for that, right? Like
Yeah.
That's
it's certain,
true.
women, like it's certain things you can't be all feminine acting, right? And then it's just not going to work out right. There's women that are like that. He would probably work with his archetype, which is a more steadfast woman that's more bossy, right? You got the men that just sit in the corner. Yes, dear. Whatever you say, dear. I'm okay, dear. No, I'll do what you say, dear. And the wife's going to get mad. Like they're married. They've been married for years. You look at it like, dude, how can you live like this? But it's him.
That's their
Yeah.
dynamic. She's a dominant, and he's more of a submissive, and that actually works for them.
That works
Now,
for him.
now for me, that doesn't work. And I'm
Mhm.
not saying the man has to be a jerk, but the men that I have loved, you know, they have the ability to be able to put their foot down. I've not been with a man that I can run over, nor could I respect a man that I could run over. To me, that is very, very, it turns me off, a man that I can run over. I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying a man that, he has to be all brute and, misogynistic, because that's going to send me running the other way too. Like
Yeah.
we were saying, there needs to be some balance, because I need to know that he can draw a hard line in the sand, put his foot down when stuff needs to be done, when something needs to be said. He's not going to bite his tongue. He's going to say it. And I expect him to say it. That's the way, the men that I was raised around were like. My dad was like that. I saw him be that way,
Mm-hmm.
So, to come in contact with the man who just did everything I said, you would probably get used to it, but it's such a turnoff. It is such a
Mhm.
turnoff. There has to be, some prickliness, you have to be able to see that strength in your man. You
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't have to be the one, oh, you go out there and get that promotion. Doesn't mean you don't encourage your man, but a woman cannot teach a man how to be a man, just like a man cannot teach a woman how to be a woman. It's just that when the two come together, they complement each other, that masculine and that feminine energy.
Right. What I think what it comes down to is I do think that there is a difference between inspiration and direction. So I'm perfectly good actually with a guy who's generally just a nice guy. Everyone thinks that this guy is a nice guy and they're overlooking him. But when he's in my presence, I inspire him. I inspire these bouts of raw masculinity, whether even if it's just like at first like on just a sexual motivation thing where I just see the way he looks at me, he grab me up and throw me on the bed and have his way with me, or just I inspire him to make power moves at work, or I inspire him to want to get up and I don't know, fix that cupboard that's been broken in my house for 3 months or whatever it is. It's that. So there's a difference between that and a man I have to direct, because when you get into that type of relationship, there is no equal partnership between men and women where women have to constantly direct the man. And if the man doesn't get direction, he doesn't do it. That's called mother son. Okay. That's not
Mm-mm,
called wife husband.
mm-mm.
right? And
That is
so
a turn off, major turn
it's
off.
such a turn off. And so any woman that you're looking at, so because I can understand, hey, you might be failing at dating, but you don't want a woman who's mothering you, and you don't want a woman with this and that. I get that, right? But then recognize what you're putting out there into the world, because if that's what you're putting out there, and you find a good woman, that woman's going to be like, listen, I am not trying to have a grown ass son when I haven't pushed any children out of me yet. You know what I mean? Like, it's
Right.
so unattractive. You have to be able to find that masculine power within yourself, that when you find this woman, when you find this life of yours, forget the woman first, just in the life that you have now, that you're commanding it. The world isn't just directing you on how to move, including your mama, and then that's how you know how to put your right foot in front of your left foot and whatever. Because that's what sometimes nice guys can be, wishy-washy and almost seem directionless and lost. And I'm not trying to jump on a train heading to nowhere at breakneck speeds that's probably going to fall off the tracks. That's not attractive.
That's right. That is so true. Now, what concerned me in the letter that he mentioned that technically, if he's turned down one more time, he wants to lay hands on
Yeah,
the
that's what I was
person.
like. I clutched my pearls when you read that. I was like, what? Dude, you hey.
This see, and I'm gonna tell you what it's about, right? This is see. Now I'm gonna tell you. See, if a, and this is the thing, right? And this has got to be a younger gentleman. You know, he's got to be under 30 or something like that. Because even when I was growing up, you know, women would let you down in 3 stages. Politely, no. Like, no, I'm okay. How are you? Oh, thank you very much. If like, I would watch my mom and how she would deal with men. Like, coming at her, right? Just trying to talk to her. And a man would walk up, hey, you looking pretty today, miss. Thank you very much, right? Right. If she does, and I would watch her interaction and her body language. I would just watch it, right? And she would have me standing next to her. Oh, he was like, oh, you with your son? Yes, I am. Right. And he said, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. Said, what's your name? Oh, my name is, if she doesn't say her whole first name and she just says like a short one, right? Because my mother's name is Linda. If she said, my name is Linda, this is my son, we have somewhere to be. Oh, I don't mean to hold you up. You have a nice day now. That means I ain't got time to talk to you. I ain't interested. Leave me the hell alone. I got my son here. I'm on my way. Right? You know what I'm saying? That's what that meant. I knew what that meant when she would say that. Now, if she looked at the guy and he said, "You looking," he's like, and he came up and said, "Hey, ma'am, you looking very good today. How are you doing?" Fine, I don't mean to intrude. Am I holding you up? And if she says, "Oh, not at all," that means she's interested.
Open the
now
door.
There's a conversation.
That door is
There
open.
you go.
Right? Now,
Go right
anyway,
ahead.
in that
Shoot your shot.
conversation, if he messes up, I can tell. She'll get real short. And when she starts saying, right, that means, oh, it's time to go. He done messed up. I look at her, she look at me, I look at her, and she give me the wink, wink. And I was like, and then, because I don't talk, right? You know what I'm saying? Because, adults talking. All of a sudden, mama, we supposed to go to grandma's house. We moving late. That's me to give her an alibi to get the hell out of Dodge. That's what, right? Now,
Good helping mama out.
you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Now, the third thing is, right, if the guy's too persistent, she will say, well, you know what? And my mama will go in her purse. This is back in the day, and she'll pull out a Bible. You know what? And the Lord, she will carry a Bible with her. The Lord, right? And if Jesus don't drive you away, listen, here, are you going to take care of this and me and him? I don't think so. So go on about your business. Right? See, those are the 3 stages that women used to let you down, because men used to come direct. The problem is nowadays is that this man is talking to the wrong type of women, like
right.
we were talking about earlier. And when a man decides he's going to lay hands, if he gets put in the friend zone again, was this before or after she sucked your bank account dry with them cash apps? Come on, let's really get into it now, right? Because for real, did she run them pockets? Did you wine and dine Was you a sugar daddy with no time to get any sugar?
No
Was
sugar. Sugar daddy without the sugar.
You know, saying you was just a daddy. You weren't even sugar daddy. You didn't even make it to sugar daddy level because at least sugar daddies get some type of sugar. You ain't get nothing, right? She wasn't even grateful. Now be grateful now. You know, don't even put it on Instagram. Nothing. So that's what it was. If a man says, "I want to put hands," if I get rejected one more time, that means he's messing with these women, right? These hoes, right? That have figured out because he's so much of a pushover that they can get the sugar, you know,
Giving up
they get the daddy without giving no sugar. They get the daddy all day, right? And he doesn't know, what to do because he's going for women that are way out of his league, right? You know, it sounds like some people that we happen to come across in these streets. Stones, bunk beds, stoves, bunk beds, laid in a pool of their own blood. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a problem because he didn't let his intentions be known from Jump Street. And with that intention to be known from Jump Street is verbally coming out and saying, "Hey, I'm interested in you. Are you interested in me, or is this going any further?"
Right.
And if she says, let me think about it, after date number 3, well, let me make that answer for you very clearly. I guess I'm not.
Yeah,
moving on.
It don't take that long. You're right. It doesn't take that long. You know, she knows, you know, if she wants to, you know, take it any further, you know, especially if you let the intentions, you know, what your intentions are up front. But I think, like you said, what a lot of guys do, they waste time by making the woman think he wants to be her friend. And she's like, oh, he's a friend, you know, he wants to be my friend and he ain't trying to get nothing from me. And then when he tries to make that leap and she's like, oh no, wait a minute. Don't wait, no. Oh. Then he gets pissed and he's like, I done took you out to dinner. I done did this. She doesn't owe you anything. She owes you absolutely nothing. You didn't make your intentions known and you made a gesture of, you were being a gentleman. You were being a man. You took her out, you know, to eat or whatever. You know, and it's very touchy for a man to be taking out a woman and not getting anything at the end of the night these days, you know. So my thing is, like, I wouldn't even want to date some of these dudes without my own card with me. I'm like, you're not about to buy me any type of a meal because if you don't get to rub my thigh, then you don't want to beat me up. We have time for that. It's just a meal. It's a meal.
Make the pep hand strong, Lord.
Yes.
I can buy my own meal, you know, but you know, it's like goodness, I don't think I have to give up an ounce of blood, you know, just because you paid for a dinner. It's ridiculous.
Exactly. It really is. And the thing that I think is interesting about that is the fact that they don't realize, and I don't know why they don't realize, that you can't trick somebody into meeting with you under false pretenses and then be angry when they don't just flip sides to the other side. Like, that doesn't make any sense. And see, I love what you said, DeAndre, about that, because for me, a guy who I automatically judge as being, say, too nice, too just, you know, wussy or whatever, you're not my type, right? And so he first says, all right, I'm trying, you know, he's trying to do the pimp thing. Yeah, I'm all right with being your friend, girl. Like, but he's trying to do it the sexy way, it just ain't working. And then by like the second or third time he sees me, then he goes, all right, cool. You know what? I get the picture. Ma, have a good life. Kiss me on my head, walk away. I'm going to think about that dude tonight. Be like, really? He has that kind of confidence in there all along, right? Yeah. He's feeling himself that much that he just walk away from me. That's going to make me take a second look, because at the end of the day, the thing that is driving this attraction thing is confidence, right? The looks and the body and the 6'6" and whatever, that makes men tend to come off with as, you know, being full of a lot of what? Confidence. Money, you know, you might not have been very attractive and blah blah blah, might not have a whole lot, you know, under the belt, but you know, you got billions of dollars, confidence, right? Women like confidence. And so, you know, when you can have that kind of confidence where you're not basically begging her to see you again, you're not begging her for, you know, an ounce of her time by throwing gifts at her and throwing money at her and throwing, like, that's basically begging. And that's like the least attractive thing you can do is beg for a woman's time, energy, and attention. And that's not to say, well, if you're dating a woman, she's already said, yes, I'm interested in you, and vice versa, and you like each other. Well, if you give her a gift, that's it. Well, you're showing that you're weak or pathetic. But no, like, you're talking about trying to get to that place. And if you're just throwing stuff at someone, you're
Yeah.
basically begging, please give me 2 seconds of your time, energy, and attention. Please, God. And it's like, no.
Begging in itself is a very unattractive trait and quality. It's even unattractive in a woman. Not saying the woman who's sitting up there begging a man, he won't nail her. He'll nail her, but he'll still leave her. Be like, okay,
Yes.
son, let me pull my pants up and he out the door. So it's like, that's not attractive on anybody. It's not attractive on anybody. So just think about that. And especially before you start throwing your cash out there, especially if you're expecting some payment for the cash that you're putting out on this woman. And you've not made any of your intentions known. She's not giving you any indication that she's interested in you, but she'll let you spend your money on her. And
Yes.
then
Right.
mad
And
about
especially if
you feel like
I'm sorry.
coming back.
Especially if she only has time for you when you're spending money. That
There
is
you go.
another indication. If she's
Absolutely.
busy, oh, I'm not really doing anything. I was thinking about going somewhere. Oh, well, I was going to take you shopping. Oh, really? Okay. Well, I'll be right there.
Girl, you want something? Girl, let's come together. You me both of us. I get you something too, girl. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
See, I would like to make a service announcement. For one cup of coffee, we can save you. You know what I'm saying? Let's save a sip a day for one cup of coffee. Right? See the cup of coffee, right? And it's a lost art form, right? The cup of coffee is a small investment into saving you money and not wasting your time. Because before we go to dinner, right, let me get to know you over something that is minuscule. And the cup of coffee could be just anything. Like, it could just be, you know, showing up to a lunch, lunch where it's like, $5 to $10 or something like that. And we just sitting there having a nice time, right? Just talking, just having an afternoon chat, a walk, something that is low maintenance. You know what I'm saying? And that's it. That's all you have to do. You don't have to do nothing extravagant. We're not getting to the extravagance. The second thing, what is her economic standing, right? Here's another thing. Where you meet someone at is most likely on how you're going to deal with them from then forth, right? So if you meet this woman in a situation where her economics is below your economics, right? And I mean, we're talking about she's struggling, right? And if you have more than her because you're just taking care of you, right? And for whatever reason, whatever her situation is, and you come in there like you like feed the children or something, you're going to be Mr. Feed the Children for the rest of the time you're there. And that's all she's going to see you as a good friend with a big wallet. That's it. Nothing more.
And that's very, very true. A man should not, make himself that place. I mean, I understand, situations, where, people are struggling. But if you insert yourself in that situation and you start being, Captain Save a Woman, I'm not going to say the other thing, Captain Save a Woman, she's looking at you to save her. She's not trying to sleep with you. You came in, oh, here I am to save the day, and you pull out your wallet. She's like, oh God, thank you. I really appreciate it. And guess what? She probably really does appreciate it, but she doesn't want to sleep with you.
Nope.
But she does
Right.
appreciate it.
They got corners for
And
that.
other than sleeping with you, how would you expect her to show her appreciation other than a thank you? And maybe she'll make you a freaking bunk cake, for your birthday.
Most of these women can't cook nowadays, Vonda.
A bunk cake is easy. We're not even about to make a bunk cake.
Nah.
And,
Listen, I'm gonna say it like this. This is just me. And this was a rule of thumb that I was taught, right? By my uncles, by my aunties, by my mom. If you run into a woman that is pretty, right? And she's always in economic straits, it's either two things. She's stupid or she a hoe. It's two things, right? It's two things. She either stupid, she not good with money. She make bad decisions with money, right? Or she a hoe. That means she got money, but it's always somebody else's money that's giving it to her, right?
Oh, wow.
And, you know what I'm saying?
That's a pro-code.
Yeah, that's exactly. You know what I'm saying? But no, she's got money. It's just somebody's always giving it to her because she's pretty, right? So if she doesn't have that other thing going on and she's always broke and she doesn't, and when I mean broke, I'm not talking about like, you know what I'm saying, like, we just like eating out of a trash can or something like that. What I'm talking about is
trash can, I ain't got no teeth. You probably might want to
I'm like, you come into, you know what I mean, like you meet up with her, you got to clean her up. Like it's like going down to the pound to get the dog or something. No, you can't. You have to understand where you're meeting someone at, right? If you run into a woman and she's well put together, she's pretty, she's got this, that, and the third, but everything is, you can tell, you can smell it on her that somebody buying her these things, right? You see where she living at. If she walking around with designer this on, designer that on, this, that, and the third, and she worked over here where they only making $10 to $12 an hour, and she pretty, and she live in this neighborhood, you gonna be guy number 10 coming out of your pockets. So you can't get mad in what you get yourself into. Listen, we adults now. I'm like, let's just stop playing. Let's get all the way into it. Let's get all the way 100. This not a 15-year-old. This not a 16-year-old. This is a grown man with bills that pay taxes and have the right to vote. Right? Okay. So let's just be real and 100. If this keeps happening to you, it's your fault. Your fault. It ain't her fault. It's your fault. There's a sucker born every day. You just happen to be a sucker. Stop being a sucker.
Right? Every minute. There's a sucker born every minute.
Every minute. And you just being a sucker. And you saying if this happens to you again, you're going to lay hands. Well, lay hands on yourself. Punch yourself in the face. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, because why you going to get mad at the woman if you keep giving her the bat to hit you over the head with? It's your fault. First of all, make your intentions known. Second of all, stop dealing with the same type of women because you're dealing with the same type of archetype.
Exactly.
If you got a certain type of woman that you attract to, I don't care what it is. It can be tall, skinny woman, dark skinned women, light skinned women, white women, Linglings, Marias, Beckys, Kerns, Bright. I don't care what it is. Stay away from them until you can control yourself. Actually, just try to get yourself in a meaningful relationship where you both come to the table with something else. Just go out with somebody. You know what I'm saying? Just have an impromptu conversation with somebody, and it's not a official date. And state it like, "Hey, I'm really into you, right? Or can this go somewhere? Can it go somewhere? We're not there yet, but can we go somewhere? Like, take stuff slow. You know what I mean? It's what it really is, Char? I think it's cuffing season. Like cuffing season is upon us. Everybody's in the house. People don't miss the spring, the summer. The whole balance of nature is off. And people thinking because people are in economic straits because of what's going on, that just throwing money will get them women. No, only throwing money to females will only get you back hoes. That's it.
Mhm.
That's it.
Well, I think someone lied to them. There's this false perception. No, it's true. There's this false perception that, this whole pandemic thing was gonna have women basically so desperate to have a man to love them and take care of them that they would have literally zero standards anymore. Whatever guy showed even the littlest interest, just like a hello, you, that's it. I'll marry you. Come move in with me, right? And that would be it. But that's not the reality. Like, reality changed. Women work just like men work. Women bring home the bacon just like men bring home bacon. Women are owning cars and houses and having great careers and defining themselves by more than just I am a wife and I have a man to take care of me. So as a result, their standards didn't change to, this point where, hey, everything is just going to magically change for you now because there's a pandemic. Like, that's not what happened. If anything, I think that people, more relationships are actually breaking up. People can't stand each other because they thought they liked each other, but it's because they never spent time together. Now they're stuck in a house with each other all the time, the kids running up underneath their feet, and they can't stand each other. Oh, I didn't know you before. I do now. I don't like you. So I think, yeah, right. So I think if anything, people's standards as far as, I want to like you, like, I really do. It's not just what your bank account is saying, or some, even your surface looks. Like, I want to like you because I might get stuck inside of a house for 3 months straight with you. I got to be able to talk to you. You got to be able to make me smile and laugh. You got to make me feel that little butterflies or the tingle or something. And I don't know. I feel like people think they can somehow manufacture that or purchase that in some way, but you can't. And that's like almost day one. Like, I can't think of one person that on the very first day, they didn't give me some type of reaction internally, but they were able to earn it over time. Like, that's not the way it went. Like, that internal reaction, that internal got butterflies or a little tingle or something was there on day one.
Compatibility cannot be bought.
Right.
And a man who is coming out the gate leading with his money, to me personally, I find that to be a weak man because, I do take care of myself. Now I don't live a rich and, opulent lifestyle. And so I don't miss it. You don't miss what you never had. Now, I'm not in nowhere near shape or form any type of poverty, but am I, living off of caviar and champagne every day? Absolutely not. So if I come across a man who that's what he's offering, I'm not going to want that because it's like, I don't live like that. I don't want that. And what about you? Let's take money off the table and let me know about you. Who are you, mister? What type of dude are you? Let me see how you get down. Let me see how you get through life other than just pulling out your wallet, because that is so, for me, that is so unattractive. But you do have a lot of women that are like, where's your money? Where's your wallet? What are you driving? Where do you work?
Yeah, I'm like, because, and I don't, and then here's the thing, in a hypergamous society, and let's just say it like this: civilization, since the beginning of townships and villages, has been always a hypergamous thing, right? Since we figured out how to plant stuff and agriculture things and farm and have chickens and stuff like that, and we don't have to go out there and men ain't got to hunt all day to bring back like a deer or something, and the women are over there with the kids and they planting in the fields. Since we've evolved in society, what is the new hypergamy, or how do you provide, right? You need transportation. So what type of car you drive? Okay. So if you have this car and you can make that payment on time, then you should be able to afford me, right? If you can take care of me, if you can take care of you, then you can take care of me, right? Like I said before, if men could walk around naked with a stick and get women, we'd be walking around naked with a stick, right? And we had the most blinged out stick ever. You don't see all this bling and drip on this stick, girl. Like, we ain't got nothing on, but we got the stick because I'm like, if you look at societies, even if you look at those Aboriginal societies or those societies that still today that they go and they do those National Geographics, even the people with the disc in their lips, right? I got the biggest disc in the village, girl, because guess what? I'm that dude, right? But that doesn't necessarily mean that that woman wants that dude. It's only if you're coming from a part of provisions, you're just providing. Because at the end of the day, let's look at it in the news, right? Look at Scottie Pippen. Look at his wife, right? She left him. It's Scottie Pippen, right? She left him. Then she just got caught holding hands with another dude. And his wife caught him on Instagram. She divorced him, and they run around holding hands with each other, right? You know what I'm saying? Now, Scottie Pippen came from a point of what? Provisions. You look at Scottie Pippen, you look at his wife. Okay, she looked way better than him. Thank God his kids look like his wife, they mama, not him, right? Right. But look at her, and she's messing with another dude. Does that dude make as much money as Scottie Pippen, the new guy, the new player? No, he does not. He does not make as much as Scottie Pippen makes. But why is she with him? Because he's doing something. He's coming from a place of not provisions. He's coming from somewhere else. Now, you know, you can agree or disagree with it however way you may. And the problem is that a lot of these guys were taught something. They were taught something along the way when it came to female interactions. And like Vonda said, it takes a man to raise a man. But how men understand and how women understand how to deal with each other in relationships is watching the dichotomy of how their teachers, which is their parents, deal with each other. Right?
Well, you know, and I mean, to be clear, I mean, I think the whole thing is that clearly humans, not just women, humans are hypergamous in general, right? But okay, let's stick with women for a second, right? Now, when we're talking about hypergamy, this is where people start getting it twisted, because value is relative. Not all women value the same things, right? And so the thing that she holds in the highest esteem, right? That is the thing that she's trading on, whatever that may be, right? So let's say, you know, women, for example, generally they want security, but what security means to each woman might vary, which is why for some women, some business dude is not as valuable to them as, you know, the top guy on the streets. Because her vision of value is not about money and pretty condos and nice dresses. It's about somebody who, you know, commands respect so no one would touch her and would handle that business if someone ever tried to hurt her or take something from her or whatever, right? So you got to realize that women value different things. And yes, they're trading up for different things. If niceness, I mean, we look at niceness as being a commodity, because I mean, it could be, right? Then you have to find a woman that values that above all else. And there are women who do. They're normally women who were raised in two-parent households or with single fathers, and those single fathers were mean as hell, right? And so they want to go the opposite way of what that mean, violent, angry, never understanding, never caring, never compassionate, whatever. They want to go the opposite way. They want to get the opposite of everything their father was, right? And so they value niceness above all else. They can work with everything else, right? So sometimes you gotta realize that, like, you're fishing in the wrong pool. And you know, just like, you know, I love that you brought up the lip plate thing, because I was thinking about the women who had the neck rings back in the day. So you put those rings on, and it slowly but surely makes your neck longer and longer and longer. But of course, since you're not moving, it makes you so vulnerable. So it was actually, that's how much men in that society valued submission, because in essence, the longer your neck was, the more submissive you were guaranteeing to be. Because if your husband didn't like anything you said or did, he could just take the rings out and let you suffocate and die. Right?
Like, oh no.
Yeah, right. Wow.
That's what it, that's why it was there.
Wow. Yeah.
Don't take my rings.
Right?
Man, you ain't taking Vonda rings. Vonda probably had like one
around my neck. If my neck is that damn long, I need those. Big old head fall over and your neck break. That ain't cool.
Just floppy neck. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
that's exactly what would happen. You didn't have any muscles to actually support that elongated neck. So as soon as the rings come out, in essence, your neck and your everything collapses in on itself, and you can't breathe, and you'll suffocate and die if your neck doesn't, if your bones don't snap. So,
Wow. See
yeah,
that? Yeah.
Mm.
See,
yeah.
but sometimes when you think about it, right? And this is the thing, right? And when people say things like and when we kind of going off a little bit, but when they say things about like submission and stuff like that and whatever, it's like, okay, that is asinine and that's stupid, right? If you really think about it, what was the point of that? Like, who? First of all, this is what I want to know: what man thought of that, and what woman thought that was a good idea for that to happen? Right? Like, no, for real, because I wanted out because there has to be a reason on why that happened, why that was a thing. Maybe it was a fashion thing or something, and someone just took it overboard. You know how people do stupid stuff. But just in that thought process, how secure did the woman feel to think that's a good idea for her to make herself that vulnerable at all times in that situation, right? And then think about it, girl. You must not trust your man because I got 8 neck rings and you only got 1. Like imagine those conversations, right?
Girl,
Like,
I got one for a reason.
I got 1 for a reason because I am independent because I don't want my floppy neck. Because you know me, girl, I go off on him and then he'll just wake up at night and snatch my neck ring off, and I just have floppy neck and suffocating. So I'm just stay by myself, girl. Well,
you know what? I remember. So what it was, right, is long necks were considered very attractive, right? So this process of neck elongation, that's part of it. The other part of it, though, is that men were a rare commodity. There were way less men than women. So it was way less guaranteed. Like, maybe 1 out of every 5 or 6 women are going to get a husband. Right. And, that means that in general, everything is more dangerous. Resources are more scarce, so on and so forth. So this promise, you're basically making a pledge. Like, I will do whatever you want. I will do whatever you say. You have this power and control over me. So give me your sperm. Basically, give me the power to have your seed. And to take care of you and to be taken care of by you. And this is basically my promise that I will be that perfect wife for you. I'm guaranteeing it more than that chick. That chick only got 6 rings. I got 8, right? So there you go, right? I'm way more submissive because look, I got way more to lose. So, it comes out of one side, it comes out of beauty, yes, but the other side comes out of necessity, right? This is why people can abuse things out of necessity, because you need a husband, or at least a man, to be able to give you children. And rather than have many wives that you can't take care of because resources are so scarce, you're only going to get one wife. So now those women are in fighting each other, really trying to prove why it is they get to be the one. And oftentimes the first and even second wives end up dying before he just sticks with the third one, because like no one trusts you anymore, brah. They know you're picky because you take out those rings with the swiftness, right? But
but then you think about it, right? Like that was hypergamy, right? You know what I mean? Like if you think like people like when you hear this conversation, right? Because you hear this conversation, and this is weird thing, right? It's hypocritical at best, right? It's man, it's all about hypergamy. Why I gotta be like that? Okay, hold on. First of all, as a man, other than protecting and providing, what do you bring to the table? Okay, the women with the neck rings, they need to be protected from lions and hyenas and black buffaloes and crocodiles and things, right? Those men do that. You go to work in a car, like there's no lions coming to attack your Honda, right? So
hopefully not.
so what I'm saying is the different forms of hypergamy in different societies, it always leads to that. It's a man's job to provide, but it's also a man's job to dictate who gets the provisions on who he provides for.
Right again.
So if you get tricked the first time out of your provisions. Okay, it's a mistake. We all make mistakes. But if you keep making the same mistake, then it is by who you your fault as a man. And if you was in the wild, in the other civilization with the neck rings, you would be dead already, because you can't make those mistakes as men too many times in that type of society, because a lion would be eating your leg. So the thing is that it's like your punishment instead of death is that if you keep this going, you won't be allowed to have your genes propagate into the next generation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. If I could, I want to answer something because Diski Veli said a little bit ago when we were talking about Scottie Pippen, said, "Nah, I don't agree. Scotty's 6'8" with talent. She is a dime a dozen." See, this is the mistake that men keep making. They look at what they value, what they think makes a man good or special or better or different, and then impose that on women as
Nah.
though women should agree with you, right? But see, this is where men are getting it twisted, and this is a problem. And this might be exactly why this guy has a problem, right? Because just because you think that every woman should value a man who's 6'8" who can play ball and is famous, doesn't mean that all women do value that above all else.
Right.
Right? Like you can't do that. Like, we're literally telling you the reality. You're looking at the reality of it and saying, nah, that ain't true. She a dime a dozen. So what? Then what do you think happened there?
Let me ask you a question. Right? Okay, the average height in modern society, right, is between, for a man, is between like I think it's 5'8" to like 6'2", right? If you are above that and you're not playing a sport, you're a waste.
True.
You're not functional.
True.
Like, there's nothing you can do. We have all seen them 6'4", 6'5" dudes walking in work, ducking and stuff, hitting their head on stuff, being all cruffed up. Like, you ever see a really tall dude sitting his butt in the car or trying to sit on the train? He's just leaning over and everybody's just staring at him, just looking at him. And like, imagine, like, he can't even dress nice. Hey man, you got that in a size fatigue? A size what? Like, hey man, I wear a 34-48. A 34-48? What?
What's that?
What is that? Well, my legs are long, right? And what happened? You don't play ball? I want coordinated. Okay, well, uncoordinate your butt out the house. Like, where you gonna work at? Like, what you gonna do? Like, and this is the thing where we have to understand the society. And it wasn't that what he brought to the table, he brought provisions to the table. He didn't bring the all other necessary things to the table. Plus, when she met him, she was younger. So it was more of what she was told was, get you a good man, girl, get you some money, girl. And then she lived that lifestyle and she moved on. And he got older, right? And basketball players don't age gracefully. They don't age gracefully, especially pro basketball player. Any pro sports player do not age gracefully. They got bad knees.
Bad knees for days.
Listen, Scottie Pippen had back surgery. This back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So he ain't hitting nothing. Nathan, he ain't hit no back shots because his back is shot. It's over. You know what I'm saying? His back is shot, and she was younger than him, and she still need to get her groove on, and he ain't grooving on nothing but being gay and a massage therapist. So you have to understand where you meet people at, and people do grow apart in life. Now, look at Jada Pinkett. She got entangled. Entanglement. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you really and look at Will Smith, he's 6 something. He ain't short. He's a tall dude. Jada Pinkett like almost 5'2" on a good day. On a good day. So
true.
What you bring to the table as a man when it comes to women, provisions. If a woman is pretty enough, she can always get provisions. Provisions is nothing. Like, if provisions is nothing. Like if walk outside and see a pretty homeless woman, find one. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll wait. I'll wait. Come on, I'm just being
No, you're
serious.
not lying. Because when I was homeless, I wasn't on the streets.
Yeah,
There was always someone willing to take care of me, and not for favors. I didn't have to do any of that. Someone was
oh,
always willing to take care of me. I was young and beautiful.
yeah,
This was just like
exactly. Listen, pretty woman problems. If you find a pretty homeless woman, and when I mean homeless, I'm talking about out in the street dumpster diving, then she's stupid. Because as long as she got 3 holes, she got a home somewhere. She got a couch to lay on or whatever, right? If she's pretty. Now the issue is you are a man and you know that your job is to secure your provisions, right? To provide for your family, right? And dating is only showing what you can do. It's like a job interview for somebody for the rest of your life. But people don't understand that in the biggest scope of things is that marriage at the end of that was always about legacy, building legacy for purposes of money and generation. And children are what is the legacy building and what is to build wealth for the family. Now, the loving part of that, because we got rid of arranged marriages, the loving part of that is okay, will people stay together and will it be less friction if we allow people to pick their own partners and to let the process elimination work and then they love each other, they will most likely stay together longer. Okay, let's move on forward. The art of conversation, being assertive, stating who you are as a man, because if you can't be assertive with a woman, how are you going to be assertive in the environment in which you need to provide for?
Exactly.
It doesn't make sense to me as a man. It certainly ain't gonna make sense to her. And her intuition is telling her, screaming, don't trust him, girl. Don't get pregnant by him. He too soft. Run. No, I'm not. No, and listen, if it was wet, it's dry now. You just don't do it for it, bro. And you got to stop picking these women. Like, and that's what I would tell them is, bro, who are you talking to? What are you doing?
Who are the women that you're looking at, and do you find yourself doing a great amount of tricking? That's going to leave you a little bit, dejected and upset if you're doing all this tricking and you're not coming up on anything.
Exactly.
To the point where you feel like you got to put hands, and next time a woman turns you down, it's like, how dare you? Put your wallet away. Put it away.
Right? Like, D-Ski is sitting up here saying, nah, come on. Pippen won 6 championships. Find me a woman who you're talking about that's beautiful and loyal, because that's what you're looking for, right? Who actually cares. I mean, really cares about basketball championships, right? Women don't value that. You value that as a man. And that's
like
great.
Men don't value a woman's degree. Women can talk about degrees all day long and be like, I don't care.
Exactly, right? So you got to understand that we don't care. I don't care. Listen, to me, I'll tell you real talk, right? At some point in life, I remember kind of low-key cheering for Scottie Pippen in something, but he wasn't that attractive to me, right? I'm not saying to other people. To me, he wasn't that good looking. So I wasn't checking for him. So even if he had walked right up to me, I would have had no time for him. Damon Stoudemire, right? He's an all right looking dude, but he's short as hell. And my mother, who's 5'2.5", okay? She likes to add on the extra half like it makes a difference. 5'2.5". Guess who was trying to check for my mama? Damon Stoudemire. Did my mom go on a date with Damon Stoudemire? No. Do you know why? Because he's too short. My mom's 5'2.5", so he's clearly a lot taller than her, but that's too short for her. My mom likes taller men than that, and she told him to his face. With all that money he was making when the Raptors were new, it was, oh my God, Mighty Mouse, right? She could have been famous. And, oh, the money. Oh, she didn't care because he was too short for her. She didn't care about all of that. Like, you have to recognize what women value, and not all women value the same thing. And even when they value certain things like money or status or the power that comes from your money and status, it doesn't, and fame, it doesn't mean that they don't need you to tick another box that you don't fulfill.
It's
Yeah.
just basic know who your audience is.
Yes.
Mhm.
If you're checking for a certain sector of woman, then you need to, handle yourself accordingly.
Yeah.
If you're leading with your wallet and you're looking for the beautiful women who want the men who have money, then you need to behave in a certain way, because if you out here just tricking, you gonna get tricked.
Oh,
Mhm.
he ain't even tricking. He's being a charity, right? Because see, tricking means you get something. You pay for a service, you get the service. That's what tricking actually means, right? You
But he sounds like he wants to keep his beautiful things, and they might have just, just did their thing, and there's nothing afterwards. This fool sound like he want to cuddle, and she just left me in the wet spot, and I ain't seen her since. And if I get turned down again, I'm gonna put hands on. It's like, dude, you need to change your stilo. You need to change your whole get down.
Well, see, the problem is, Vaughn, that if a woman says we friends, right, and I'm in the friend zone, he not even smelling the draw. He ain't even getting to the wet spot. He ain't even get to the front door. He picking her up he listen. He picking her up on Tuesday, not Friday night, not Saturday, right? He picking her up on between Monday and Wednesday, and he got to wait in the car down the street, down the block, so her real man don't see him.
Well, I'm going to introduce this little tidbit. Have a friend that dated a nice guy, and took her out and all those things. But when it went down to getting in bed, there was an issue, and she no longer wanted to go forward. She just wanted to be friends. And he had heard that so many times that he just hung up on her and, stopped calling her. He knew what time it was. So he has had experience with women always wanting to be his friend. He told my friend that when they met, and then she found out why. Just want to throw that out there.
Mm.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah, this is.
So, okay. So then he hung up on her, right? Never spoke to her again. But now my question is, from that point, what did he do? Because see, I want to know, like, if you keep bringing in women who only see you as friends, right? Just like we say to
Mhm.
women who, for example, only bring in guys who are abusive or something like that, that is what you're putting out into the world. So that's what you're attracting to you. So you got to fix some stuff internally within yourself to change your dating pool, to change the energy you're putting out and therefore what you're bringing in. So now, did he change that, or did he just get even more mad at the next girl to the point where maybe he's the one who wrote the letter now wanting to put hands on somebody? You know what I mean? Like,
You know, I'm gonna have to check and see if she give me some more details about that. But I just know that he was so small and could not perform that was enough for her. She's like, that's it.
Wait
He
a
was a
minute.
nice looking guy, had money and all of those things. But yeah.
See, but there are some women who are okay with that.
I'm going to tell you, Shar. I'm just going to tell you. I had a friend. Now, she was the type of chick, she would just fall in love, just overnight, with these dudes. And she fell in love with this dude, and this dude just played her off, and didn't show the type of interest that she showed in him. And and I just knew she was so crazy about this dude. And I was like, well, girl, because I was just perplexed. I was like, girl, what is it? What is the sex good or whatever? Because I mean, it's like, he's always playing you off and you're always in this heartbroken state. And she was like, girl, no. He's smaller than a thumb. And I was like, what? I said, and you're giving him all this power, and he was about as cocky as a Scottie Pippen with his height and his basketball skills could ever be. This dude had the penis, according to her, And she didn't have no reason to lie to me. I mean, I didn't want the dude, but I was just wondering why she was so wrapped up in this dude. But this dude had a certain type of swag or attitude or confidence about him. I don't know what it was because I didn't see the shit, but she was so enthralled with this man. And then when she like broken down, she's like, "No, girl, he's smaller than a thumb." And I was like, "What?"
See, but this is my point.
Uh-huh.
Like how you gonna have BDS, big D swag, right? With a little D below the belt. Like you're guaranteed.
You know what? He had her hook, line, and sinker, even with a less than a thumb size. I don't know if that was a female thumb, a midget thumb, or
Oh Lord.
little baby hands. He had the baby.
Yeah, I didn't know if it was baby hands or what, but a thumb is a thumb. I don't care on whose hand it is. A thumb is not, a large finger. But that's neither here nor there. But she was just like, she was so enthralled with this man. And I'm going to tell you, I've met a couple of chicks, and she was like, no, girl, no, he pinky finger. And I was like, what? This man cheated on her, walked over her. She did, but you know what? And when you say that, all these guys talk about BBC. No, dude. If you have the right attitude, the right swag, the right confidence, I don't care what you working with, what you got dangling between your legs. I've known chicks that were head over heels enthralled and in love with dudes that had penises that were not nowhere near a BBC.
So there you go.
To me, that's utter BS. So with this dude right here, he talks about how good looking he is, how great a catch he is. His confidence is shot and is at zero, and he needs to step up the confidence. It's not the women, dude. It's your confidence.
I'm gonna tell you what and you're right, Vonda. It's his confidence, but it's this thing, right? It's this thing where you keep swinging and missing, right? It's like you're trying to hit home runs and you're swinging at air and you're just not. Just try to get on base. Just make contact with the ball, right? Just make contact with the ball. The problem is he's standing there and he's not even making contact with the ball. Right. And what it is the problem with, a lot of these guys is they've been told this thing, right? And it's a fallacy, right? Because, okay, if everything was so hypergamous in life, you wouldn't have homosexuals and HDMI1 dudes. They wouldn't exist, right? Right? If a man needed to have a job and provided money to get a good looking woman or a woman or whatever, then homosexuals wouldn't exist, right? But they do in droves. There's a lot of them, right? So, you know what I mean? And, just like on the other end of the spectrum, like you were saying, a master's degree or a doctor's degree don't mean nothing. Like most men would rather have a woman have a doctor's degree in red velvet cakes than whatever the hell you got a doctor's degree in. I don't care about that. What does that do for me? Like, okay, and here's another thing, right? And here's another thing. Everybody wants a balance, right? Most women, they want a man. Like, there have been more women that have left good men that make good amounts of money that take care of their family because he worked too much. He ain't home. You've heard it. You've heard these things, right?
Yeah.
Listen, it's this phenomenon of human nature of greed, right? And this is the thing about it. Here's another thing about women. And here's the thing about people. If you are so unselfish, that is a turnoff. I have friends that can't get in a relationship with a woman because they are too unselfish. They're so unselfish. Like, they are so unselfish. Like, if you meet these dudes, like, they're the nicest dudes in the world. You need something, they got you. They whatever, right? But they will never ever be in a relationship with a woman past a certain amount of time because they are not selfish. And what that means is they are not motivated in something and goals that they want. everything is revolved around that one person. And that is a turn off for anybody, because if it's all about me, what about you? How am I helping you out if it's all about me? I know what I want. What do you want? No, 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 whatever you want. No, no, no. What do you want? No, no, no. I'm just doing this for you. No, no, you need to do it for yourself. This needs to be a give and go thing. And that's probably what the problem is that he doesn't have an identity of himself. His identity becomes her, or everything is revolved around. He gets so
boils down
involved.
to, Dre, that, basically, and this is just human nature, a man or a woman, doesn't want to be involved with someone who doesn't have anything else going on in their life. Meaning, if I am your end all to be all, it's like, for many people, that's like boring. It's like, wait a minute, there has to be, some yin and yang. There has to be some sort of resistance. There has to be something that the other person has to work for. I've had men tell me, oh, Vonda, you're beautiful. You're wonderful. You're great. But, I've also had guys that, don't look twice. And when you have guys that are like, wait a minute, hello, hey, but it all depends on the woman. If she thinks that all she has to offer is looks, then she's gonna wonder why this man is not interested in her for her looks, and that's gonna make her want to chase after him. And that doesn't mean that you don't find the woman pretty, because pretty is what pretty does. If she's pretty, she's pretty.
Yeah.
If you think she done heard that 1,000 times, so why are you gonna sit there and run that same old line that she done heard from 1,000 men? You gonna give her a different type of swag, and she gonna be like, wait a minute, how come you not all, just falling all over me? And she's gonna want to know a little bit more about you, like, hey, what's going on with this dude? Or depending on how this man presents himself, if he presents himself as a very confident man, she's gonna be like, wait a minute, who's this dude up over here? And he may not have looked at her twice. That's no insult, but she's finding an interest in him because he's not just flocking all over her. There's nothing wrong with a man showing a woman respect, but when you start getting into that worshiping, I really don't think men should worship women. If you get to that zone of worshiping a woman, then you put yourself further down on the totem pole than a friend zone.
And I think this now comes down to know your audience, because Ruby likes to be worshipped. So
okay, here we go with Ruby-isms. Okay, Ruby, here we go with Ruby-isms. I knew it was gonna happen.
It's bound to happen at least once in every show. Okay, so listen. No, but it's true. I like to be worshipped. I'm not gonna lie, right? Because that would be disingenuous. I like that feeling. I like being with a man who looks at me and treats me like he thinks I am God's gift, literally from above, that showered on him, and he just every day he gets up and he looks at me, he just cries a little bit because, oh my God, she's so perfect and she's mine. I can't believe it. I love that. I do. I'm not gonna lie. No, if you don't, no, I'm not even gonna lie. If you don't feel that way about me, I can't be with you. I'm gonna be real. I can't be with you. You don't feel like that about me. But now here's the thing, right? So no, because I'm gonna qualify it. I'm gonna qualify it, right?
Okay. Petty spread.
Qualify, because I'm about to listen.
Because it's true, right? But here's the thing, right? If that makes you a sniveling, wussy, weak, I'm supposed to walk all over you because you're too afraid to be a person or to be a man because you just can't lose me because you're so scared like a wuss. No, that's not going to work, right? See, now this is the thing, because right, if I'm going to jump on a man's train, I got to think you're the bee's knees. Your internal man has to draw me in like a moth to a flame. And now I am like sucked in. And you know what? I'm going to submit my whole life, my whole world to you. If I'm going to do that, I need to know that feeling's reciprocated. But that doesn't mean you lose yourself in the process. If you're not a man, right? If you weren't already leading somewhere when you were single, so you weren't already leading somewhere, you didn't already have yourself, your direction, your purpose together, have something for me to be following if you're supposed to lead me, right? Then at the end of the day, when you get all caught up in me, then you entirely lose yourself and you become a sniveling doormat because you are scared to lose me. You can't function under scared to lose me, right? You need to have the confidence within yourself as a man that you know you got all the right stuff to keep me, and you're going to do you, and you know that's going to keep me. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's, you still got to have that confidence within yourself, right? But I got to have the confidence that there ain't nobody in this world that can come close to how amazing Ruby is to you. There you go.
Well, see,
All right.
okay, see, I can understand that. Yeah. So for the rest of us functioning human beings, it's always this thing of this balance of too much, right? Too much of anything is bad for you, right?
Right.
Like too much praise, too much anything. When you're dating, right, or whatever you're doing, if you come to the date and you give a person a gift every date, right? So if you show up to the date and you show up with flowers, right? Let's just say that, right? You show up at the door with flowers. What type of flowers are these, right? You're showing up with roses, right? Then you show up with roses, right? And every date you're showing up with a rose or whatever, right? Now you're setting a precedence. You got to do that thing over and over again until she says it's no longer necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you going to top the next one? What are you going to do in the next thing? See, a gift is no longer a gift if it's expected.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
You know what I mean? Like, so if you start at the bottom, and when I mean at the bottom with low expectations, you can always supersede those and build on those things moving forward, right? What are you without your money?
Exactly.
What are you? Like, who are you? What are you? What makes you tick? If I pull everything apart from you, right? I've talked to women where they said, I'm generally into taller guys, but for some reason, and you were cool, we connect, right? Now, with that being said, is how did we get there? Because she probably had experiences, right? That's her type. But when the guys that she dealt with, when she peeled that away, that's all it was a tall dude, a handsome dude, right? He did, personality didn't come with the package, batteries not included. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's certain things that you have to work on, right? People that hit the gene lottery, they don't necessarily have to develop a personality.
But you know what? They end up losing in the end, depending on the person. Now, it doesn't mean that they don't win by numbers, quote unquote. Because they have won the gene lottery doesn't mean that they don't get a lot of attention because of those numbers. Like a tall dude, we talk about this all the time. Tall dudes, Black women love tall men, and Black men love beautiful women. Beautiful women get all the attention. But, who they choose to live with and spend the rest of their life with may not be your Beyonce. She may just be a normal chick. Now, for me personally, my preference of the type of guy that I am attracted to, and this is just from when I was younger. Even when I was younger, I preferred and what I liked and what I thought was attractive. And it was just based on what I saw. A tall, slender, the basketball physique type of a man. To me, that was just ultimately a very attractive man. But guess what? I've only dated one man who fit that physical description. Okay? One man who fit that physical description. So we have our preference of what we like. Oh, damn, I really like that. Like, I watch basketball. I be like, damn, I love the tall, lean, lanky, muscular bodies. But I've only been with one dude who was like that. And guess what? Not only was it just one dude, he was the worst entire ever for me. So the man that I actually loved, and married was nowhere effing near that.
It's like the
Me too.
It's like, we have our, we like, oh damn, I like that look. It's just a look, but it doesn't mean that it's the end all to be all. Like some men, like, oh damn, when I see, a light-skinned woman, oh my gosh, she's pretty, but that's not what he ended up marrying. He married someone that he could get along with, so he fell in love with a different woman. Do you understand? We do have our superficial preferences. But that doesn't mean that that's where it ends. Like, I don't think that it stops, at a tall dude. I do love that physique, and I find that physique, very attractive, and I'm attracted to that. But even though that's not what I ended up with, I was attracted and in love with, with the man who wasn't that. So it doesn't just always fit into these boxes. So you have to be able to, open your mind and, willing to deal with, the person. This is where it comes into play, that get to know the person, because you can actually fall in love with the person. And that's the way I see it. I mean, it's not always about the tall 6'4", slim, although I just think that to me, that type of a body physique is like, oh my God, that's a god. But what? I look at myself and I'm like, what? My physique and the way that I am may not be the goddess that, he finds attractive, because I am not your big hipped, big booty Black woman. I'm just not. I am nowhere near that. I'm more a smaller framed woman, no hips, but I got more to offer than just some big hips. I don't have the big hips, but these hips move. You know what I'm saying?
Your hips don't lie, huh? Your hips don't lie.
They don't lie. So it's like,
but you know what, Vonda, is this thing, like, because if you talk about preferences, right? Is the preference set internally, or is the preference set, is it affected also by the environment, right? So let me put it to play, right? Let's just say the basketball player. The basketball player, when you were growing up, was like the Dr. J archetype, really slender, tall, muscular. They like gazelles, right?
yes.
Like, you know what I'm saying? But if you look at the basketball players now, they look damn near like football players, right? These dudes all are just, all strong and tall and stuff, right? Like if you take like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Dr. J in their prime, right? And let's just say you take a LeBron James, right? But if you take a Kevin Durant, and if you look at Kevin Durant's body type, right? And you put him next to LeBron James, you say Kevin Durant looked like a toothpick compared to LeBron James, right? Of how big he is, right? But when you look at it in the greater spectrum of things, it's a progression, right? It's environment, like it's also, right, it's what's functional, right? Now it's also what you like, and it's also what you deem that is the apex of what your genes want. Like what is your intuition? Like, if I was going to procreate, I want that man to impregnate me, to make me a whole bunch of babies that look like that. Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And that's what happens. That's exactly what happens.
It's a primal nature.
That's exactly what I did.
And you tried it out. You tried to see first, because we humans, we speak. we have a thing about us. We speak. We don't just move on just that alone, right? Because we have culture and society, right? So, and there's repercussions if you happen to get with the wrong person.
Right.
So, there's very horrible repercussions if you get with the wrong person. So with that being said, is now the paradigm has shifted, right? In the 80s and the 90s, in the mid 90s, early 80s, Vonda's body frame, right? What we would call like the FloJo body frame, right? The track runner, the lean body, the tight body, all of that The Whitney Houston body frame, that was put in your face. And that, if you was a woman, and especially a black woman, and you weren't walking around and you didn't have that Diana Ross body kit, or Whitney Houston body kit, you wasn't considered beautiful or pretty, right? Even the fashion around it gravitated to it. Then when you started to get into the late 80s to the mid 90s, now the booty and the hips, now we could thank Uncle Luke for that, right? And all of that, and Freaknik and all of that stuff. Now everything was about the spandex, and you got I like big butts and all this other stuff. And then you started to see it gravitating across the board. Now you got Karen's in the gym. You can tell a Karen that like a black dude because she in the gym just doing squats all day. Her on the leg machine. She doing squats all day. She ain't doing nothing else. Karen ain't doing nothing else but squats. Karen done went to Becky, right? Now if you can tell because the black men love them butts, right? But that's all you bring to the table. So what happens when gravity and Father Time comes? What happens when gravity start pulling the butt down to the back of the ankle?
Appear.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where it comes down to at the end of the day, right? Like I would say, right? Pretty women, whatever the era, whatever what was told to us, whatever was said. Now, why do black men or men from, that have ancestry from the continent of Africa, why do we like women with big hips? Because internally in our DNA, a woman that has wide hips is made for making babies. They have a higher chance of going through pregnancies way back in early times before we got all this wonderful medical technology now, right?
Right.
So
it's more like the safety of delivery, right?
Yeah,
the wider your hips are. Yeah.
Yeah, the wider your hips are, that baby can come out and she ain't going to die. She can have more babies. And she can feed the babies that's there, right?
Your baby out.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't negate, this woman's beautiful, this is that, and then you go with whatever you can go with. At the end of the day, is a lot of times, and this is what happened with men, and men don't like to admit it. We all, human nature, we play the fool because sometimes our primal urges and what we find absolutely beautiful negates our fucking judgment. It negates it to the point where we can't control ourselves and we just act like an idiot. And the time when you make sure that you understand that I have a problem with this type of person, like this person, if I see this type of person that built a certain way, if I can't control myself, I need to leave them alone because I'm not acting right.
Well, I guess, and this is why I really feel like sometimes, a lot of people should take a class on what evolution actually is and what survival of the fittest really is. Because a lot of people don't understand genetics and how they work. And so they don't understand some of those underlying pulls. So, for example, most women who really want a man who's over 6 feet tall, they're normally short women. Women who are 5'8", 5'9", so you would think, well, for sure they'd want a man who's taller than them. A lot of those women are okay dating shorter men, like men who are significantly not just shorter than them, but significantly shorter than what most people would accept, like being 5'7", 5'6", 5'5", right?
Yeah, right.
And the reason why is because if a woman is very tall, she has tall genetics already. She can pass that down to her baby. If her whole family is tall, all of them are tall, then she knows there's a strong probability she's going to pass on tall to her kids anyway. And yes, that's better for her kids. So she doesn't need to find that trait in a man. So she's going to look for another trait. Now, this is all subconscious, but she's going to look for another trait maybe her family doesn't have, or that she, requires in order to pass down to her kids, right? So if you're a guy and you're a little bit shorter and that's why you're getting friend zoned, well, stop trying to find the women who are shorter than you. Maybe broaden your horizons. Look for a girl who's a little bit taller than you, because those are the ones, honestly, if you're 5'10", 5'11", you've probably dated a lot of guys in your life who are shorter than you, or you didn't date much at all because you don't have a lot of options. Let's be real.
Nah.
Right?
Well, so I'm 5'7" and 3/4, almost 5'8". You know, so for me, a dude that's my height or even, 6 foot, could be short if I put on some 3-4 inch heels, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it just all depends. And my thing is that, like I said, the man that I ended up with, with high heels, I was half an inch taller than him. And guess
Right.
what? I did not care.
Care.
No,
Exactly.
no,
It did not matter to me one way or the other. The whole thing of what, quote unquote, what I found to be sexy, it didn't matter. I did not, discount this man because, oh no, you're not 6 foot, 4, and you're not, this, skinny. A lot of basketball players are skinny, but they're muscular. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what I loved about their bodies is that I'm like, oh my God, the muscles. Like, okay, for instance, Dwight Howard.
yeah,
That dude's body, he's like a freaking god. His body, the way it is just sculpted, you
yeah.
know.
He's a
And
he's a
I
lean.
I like that, but that's not what I end up with, you know. And
Mm.
so it's like we have our, our likes and our preferences, but you know what? I think it does. We play to the back a lot of times. Personal compatibility with the person that we're dealing with
Yeah.
Right.
on the back
Like,
burner a lot of the times. And I think that a lot of times we should just kind of, what? Venture to think outside the box and you might be happier. So if this
mm-hmm.
dude stopped trying to go for, these quote unquote bad bitches, and I'm just assuming, I have no idea. He didn't say
Right.
They
after.
run these
If
projects.
he just left alone these bad bitches and went for a chick that he was compatible with, she would be appreciative of the dinner he bought her.
Mm-hmm.
She'd be appreciative of the time he spent with her.
You
Whereas
know what?
Right.
bitch, she got a dude on, like you said, Dre, Monday, Tuesday, and then she got that special dude that she is,
Really with.
jumping on him on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah. And
You know,
it's waking up ugly on Sunday morning with crust in eyes. See, the problem, and the thing is a lot of these men, and this is what I had to learn, right? You gotta get your confidence up. And when I mean you gotta connect, you
true.
gotta hit it. Sometimes, man, listen, you go on for tens, nines and tens, eight and a halves to tens, they cost a lot. It's a
And
lot of
that is just
time.
looks. We're not even talking about personalities. These
Period.
could be straight 9s and 10s with their looks, but their personalities could be a -4.
A -4. So sometimes, right, we used to have
Mm.
this saying, right? Right? We used to have this saying, like, man, what you got, man? I got me a 9. I said, yeah. He said, yeah, man. I got me 2 6s and 3 7s. Oh, word? Yeah. He said, oh, well, it's quantity over quality. No, the work you got to put in with that 9 ain't equivalent to my 3 6s and 2 7s. You know what I'm saying? And he's and when we would talk, when we would say this, right? He said, well, why would you call her this? Well, in the looks department, she ain't hitting on your girl, but she does this, she does that. She cool as a fan. I can be around her. I ain't tripping. I can go to and fro. She got her thing going, I got my thing going, and that's what it is. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times with these dudes is there are women out there that are bad chicks. They just don't know that they are bad chicks.
True.
There's a lot of women out there that are bad chicks that just don't know that they're bad chicks. Like you have to go find them. Like you gotta go look for them. Like they need to be just like a woman. She gets a dude where he has potential. There are women that have potential that are great. Like sometimes they don't know. Like, hey, babe, why don't you try this? Oh man, you're pretty. You got to look through stuff. See, we in this hypersexualized environment, we got to go back to people putting clothes back on, right? And seeing the shape through clothing, right? I don't, see, yoga pants that ruined it for a lot of dudes, right? A lot of dudes, right? If you're walking down the street and I'm seeing all kinds of no camel toes, and all of that, and everything's already out there in the open, I already know what you're working with, right? I'm you can't hide it now. I done seen you. I done seen it. I done seen it grabbing. I done seen it not grabbing. I done seen you decided, hey, I'm going to put these yoga pants on, and I got an ass that's a sucking chest wound. Like I'm you know what I mean, where I could have put a dress on, or I could have put some pants on and gave me a little lift and made it look like I had a butt, but I don't got a butt now. Maybe I'm a butt guy. I don't want you because you just showed it off now. You know what I'm saying? Some like a lot of times guys need to get past certain things and talk and have a conversation. There are people that are compatible for each other, but we look past a lot of things because we're superficial. And a lot of times is, why do you want the bad chick to show off to your friends?
Uh-huh.
I
Yeah,
want you to show off to your
self-validation.
friends. And
Mhm.
and here's another thing. And here's another thing. Probably the reason he's at his wit's end is because if you and I can tell from the letter, if he's just the third, fourth woman or whatever, and he's about to lay hands, and he probably just said that because he's just at his wit's end or why this is happening to him or whatever. That means he's pretty okay with his money, right? And when I mean
Yeah.
okay with his money, he's not sucking, he's pretty good or whatever, right? I'm not going to say the whole 6-figure stuff because most 6-figure dudes are too busy to even be dealing or even thinking about stuff like that to that point, right? They just deal with
Right.
how they live, right? But let's just say he's high 5 figures, right? He's a multi thousandaire. Let's just say that, right?
Okay.
And he can't go up in his career path because a lot of times, especially with men, you won't get promoted if you're not in a relationship or married. They won't promote you because they can't trust you. Like if you can't handle being or running a household or having a wife or potential children or something like that, we would rather deal with a guy that's divorced than deal with a man that can't get in a relationship with somebody. In a in a personal relationship with someone, because then we can't trust you. It's like it's better to have bad credit than no credit
Mhm.
in that sense. So
You
he's
know what
probably.
though?
Mhm.
I was gonna say I think you're giving them too much credit. I'm gonna be real. And the reason why is because I hear a lot of men complain about things, but when you get them, and I've seen it happen a few times where you get them, and you start getting them to run down what the resume actually is. No, they ain't no high 5 figures, nothing. Okay, first of all, they think they have a good job. By good job, they mean like they work in a call center somewhere that gives them, very basic benefits. You know what I mean? And they're not at risk of getting fired anytime soon. And they do actually have a car, either, a really old used one or one that they're going to be paying for the next 10 years. You know what I mean? They're in a frat house with a bunch of other guys, or maybe living in the basement at mama's, but they pay rent and there's a separate entrance, or like, you know what I mean? Like when you
Yeah.
really break it down, they're not. And so they blame things like, oh, it's just because I'm a nice guy and she wants the jerk or whatever, and you're like, bro, did you really listen to your resume and then see it through a woman's eyes? Because let's pretend that you're actually chasing wife material, right? Okay, well, if she's wife material, it means she's already a wife. That means she's living her life like she's a wife right now.
Mhm.
And you are coming to her and saying, I want to be a husband to you. And then so she's going to look at, okay, cool. So that means you're currently leading a household, right? It's just you in the household, but you're leading it. Let me look at what that household looks like. Let me look at what that life looks like. And let me look at how you see that life. What do you think about it? Because you could have all just what I just described now and see it as, man, you're barely at step one. Feel like, you got started late. Your priorities were a mess before, but now you're on the right track, whatever. And I can look at you and see a guy who, fine, he was wasting his potential, but now he's engaged in it and he's ready to run forward with this, and he's made moves, and he's got a 5-year plan. And I'm like, okay, I can do that. But if you're looking at yourself in those conditions right now and you're going, yo, man, come on, I'm a good guy because I ain't never been to prison and I ain't never sold drugs and I ain't never this and I ain't never that. And your whole definition of why you're a great man and a great catch is all the things you've never done and not about all the things that you have done and that you are, right? And then on top of that, you're nice. so you don't even give me the raw animalistic, like you're gonna push me up against a wall and take me. You know what I mean?
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on, Ruby. Wait a minute. we ain't just gonna go over that one. Like,
yeah,
He gonna take it.
no, you know what? No, I'll tell you. So I was watching this very trashy show. I've been watching it all week called Girlfriends. Okay, and like in season 4, they were doing a list of all the things they want in a man, right? And the one Tracy Ellis, whatever she plays in this show,
Tracy Ellis Ross, Joan.
Yeah, Joan. Thank you. So Joan was putting on her list, and the thing she put on her list was a man who is, masculine enough to take me while I'm sleeping, right? And at first, I took a double take, and I thought about it, and I'm like, I get what she means. I do, because that man, she doesn't mean masculine. She used the wrong description. But if he's tapped into you and tuned into you, and y'all are, you stimulate each other all the time, right? And I wake up and he give me a little kissy here, kissy there, and I'm already all turned on and stuff and whatever now in the middle of the night because he wants me so bad. Hell yes, right? That's something that I get that. And see, that's the whole thing. It's that raw animalistic sexuality. Women want to feel that from a man, and they want to, you want to walk around on cloud 9, girl, with the glow on your face, feeling all like, God damn, yeah, he wants me. Ooh, it was good. You know what I mean? He pleases me. And that's a big factor. So you walking around with your low 5 figures, you know what I mean, living in mama's basement and stuff like that, and you give her some real basic missionary, but you think because you're working with 9 inches and she faked an orgasm, well, you must have done a lot of things right. Like, people, because women lie. They do. They lie, and then they'll just tell you, I think we're better off as friends. And what they mean is you're not cutting it in like 7 different categories, and you don't even get me off. So there's just no point on this. Yeah.
Well, Ruby, I didn't want to interrupt earlier, but as far as with my friend, he was just nice. That was his top note. It was nice.
Nice.
The masculinity wasn't there, so that's why she wanted to just be friends.
See, it's what it is. And what is for men, from a man to a man, what we look at as women is basically them fighting, right? This is why, it's attractive to watch your man play sports or something, right? And then he wins and he's all powerful and manly, or he's fixing something, he's all powerful and manly. So, that competition thing, we watch men, that's what we're gauging as masculine, that aggression, right? And when it's with us, we don't want you to be aggressive at us, right? So then what are we looking at? That's what it is. It's the sexuality factor. It's again, he looks at me with sex in his eyes, he turns and then he said, ooh, baby, gotta get you home with me tonight. No, but that's what it is. I mean, how many songs have said the same thing? Right?
We're going to go back because, we would like to make a public service announcement. The statements of Ruby are hers alone and not reflect the views of the Just Ask. Like, because you got to really explain yourself. I'm glad Ruby explained herself because she realized who the audience is and who may be in the clouds listening. Ruby said we should just go snatch women out of their beds. just grab them by the poo-poo. Just snatch it. Just take it. That's what she said. Right? Like,
that's how she said it. And everyone was like, and like it was like a pause moment, right? And I paused too, like, wait, did she really say that? I had to rewind and listen to it. Like, what? But then I thought about it. She's like, she's not talking about some random guy on her first date. She's talking about her man. And so how do you gauge he'd be that kind of man? Well, it's that sexuality. It's that connection that you have with someone and what y'all inspire in someone. And if you walk around tingly all damn day just thinking about the man, you know what I mean? And vice versa, y'all can't wait to, not keep your hands off of each other. And I think that's really what she was saying. Even though she said it the way she said it.
But see, the problem is with the man in question here. Listen, you know how sad it has to be that you paying and you still can't play? Like, how low can you fit? Like, think about it, right? You buy a stove, a bunk bed, and you still can't do anything, right?
Mm.
I'm just saying. Like, if you really think about it like that, it's like, dude, you cannot. At the end of the day, you have to get to a point where you have to, like you said, you have to state what you're saying, but women operate in a frequency, and it's up to the men to find what the frequency is. Like, you find the frequency, right? You
Yeah.
find the frequency. I learned early on that the only people that pay to play are tricks and hookers. Like, you pay the hooker, and she gives you your 20 minutes. Right? But you still have to state what you want.
Right?
Yes.
You want some head, baby, you want the whole package. You know what I'm saying? You still
All
gotta
right.
state. And if you don't state, well, baby, don't sit up there with your mouth open. You gotta state. You gotta tell me what you want. You know what? You wasting my time, sugar. Move on. Hey, what you want? I gotta work here. You can't be standing around me. And if you keep standing around that hooker and you don't tell her what you want, guess what's gonna happen? The pimp gonna show up. And you know what I'm saying? You costing me money.
You gonna miss out.
You ain't just gonna be. It's this thing is people. It's time is wasted a lot of times, and a lot of times we try to blame other people for wasting our time when we assume, right? And I'm sorry to say this, right? As a man, your first thing as a man is to understand that rejection will happen about 75% of the time. Have you not hit the gene lottery? Like, you will be rejected about 75% of the time. That's it. Like, look at National Geographics. You hear it. The young lion in the bushes. He's been separated from the pride. Oops. The gazelle got away again. How is he going to eat tomorrow? Tune in. Guess what? And he gets his butt up and he goes.
But you know what, Dre? I'm going to disagree with that, only because when we're talking about the lions and the pride, I'm sorry. I've watched National Geographic a lot of times, and all those goddamn lions look the goddamn same. Okay. It is that lion that puts his effing paw down, and he lets it be known that, hey, I rule this shit up over here.
Yeah.
And he demonstrates it. He doesn't just tell you, he actually shows you and demonstrates it, because it has absolutely nothing to do with 6'7", his bank account. That lion and that pride, he's doing the damn thing. He's like, look, I'm about to prove to you what it is and who I am. Exactly. And that's what he does. And he looks no different than the damn lion, with the mane that's standing right next to him. But he ended up being the better lion because he won it out. He fought it out and won it out. So that looks bull crap. I'm sorry, it does not. It to me is only a minute part of things, because men place more of a value on looks than women do. And I'm not saying women don't like good-looking men. I just told you what my ideal type of physical, like, man does it for me, but never ended up with that dude. But one time,
like that, like the woman, like before, when she was talking about the guy kept talking to her and his breath stink. If that dude breath ain't stink, she would have been cool with him. Probably had good conversation, but his breath stink, right?
Well, if you can't get past the breath, it's like we have nothing else to talk about, dude.
Exactly. But the reason why, but if he was really ugly, she would have really let him know a long time ago. She wouldn't even contact Char.
And she didn't even say that he was ugly. So he was probably not a bad looking dude, but because his breath was humming and like Bruce Lee, she was like, oh no, I'm not about to go this bus route no more.
Yeah, his breath was humming so bad she got amnesia every day.
Right.
She forgot.
I mean, it's sad. It's sad how many women have good hygiene on their list, very high to the top. That means there are too many men that they've encountered that don't brush their teeth properly, that don't wash their balls properly. Like, let's be real, right? Because otherwise it wouldn't be on your list. You only put something on your list, right? It's if
you come into contact with the negative of that.
Exactly. And
Wash
not just
your
once,
ass.
but many times.
Wash your ass.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like,
Like,
scrub your tongue, man. Brush your tongue. You know, I'm going to be real. I dated someone who, at years in, right? And they told me they don't brush their tongue because they think it's gross to get all that stuff from their tongue onto their
So you wanted
toothbrush.
to stay in your mouth?
I swear to God. I swear to God, he didn't want to dirty up his toothbrush with what's on his tongue. I'm like, exactly.
what?
Do you want to and put that tongue anywhere on, in, or near me? Like, what the hell is wrong with
Put your tongue
you?
in your
Right?
mouth because it's not coming over here.
Right? You're a grown man. You don't brush your tongue? You use a tongue scrape and tell me you do something. Because that's nasty, right? Like,
Ruby, you know, listen. All men, right? See, men has this thing, right? And it's a, how should I say it, right? See, and it's this thing like, you know, when you start getting that dichotomy with men and women, right? Men wash themselves, they do that, but women, because things are internal, right? And y'all have to have a higher level of cleanliness because everything with us is external. So the men's logic is, I can
You
rinse
can just
that off.
wash it off. You can rinse it
I
off
can
in the
rinse it
sink.
off, wash it off,
Rinse
right?
it off
You
in
know,
the sink.
Listen. You know, the first thing a man do, right? We'll be sitting there, right? You know, it's our day off. You know, this is I'm talking single man logic, right? Single man logic. Right? We sitting in the house. We ain't going nowhere. Ain't nothing going on. Ain't nobody coming over. Ain't nothing going on. We sitting there. We like this. It's a Saturday. We ain't doing nothing. We in our sweat clothes, pajamas, boxer shorts, no underwear, just sitting on the couch, looking at the game, laid out. And you know what we do? We get that quick smell, the underarm smell. Oh, I'm good. I'm still good. Now, I'm good to me, but I'm gonna need somebody to come in, right?
yes.
Right? Let me know if I'm not good, right? You know what I'm saying?
Please.
And
Yes.
then you just laying there, just sitting up there, right? And then because you know you get used to your own smell. Like if you start smelling you really rank, right?
You
Yes.
know what?
So,
I'm just gonna tell you. My mom always told me, you smell yourself before anybody else does. And if your nose gets that turned out that you can't smell the funk of your ass, then something you've been sitting in your funk for a little bit too long.
And a lot of dudes, a lot of these guys, right? A lot of these guys, right? They crunchy. They ain't juicy, right? Juicy is a different smell. When you crunchy, it's on you. It's on you. It ain't going nowhere. Matter of fact, when you leave, you still there.
Right. Right.
Terrible.
Right? You got a whole outline, right? And the thing is a lot of these guys, when they say I'm a nice guy, I got a lot of stuff going for me. Okay, what you got? I got a job. You're supposed to have a job.
Exactly.
I got my own place. You're supposed to have your own
place, fool.
I got a car. You're supposed to have a car. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, not necessarily depending on where you live at. Like, if you living in New York, you don't need a car. But if you living in the South, you need a car. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got no priors. You ain't supposed to be a criminal. Like, what are you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Right? Like, well, I volunteer my time with the youth. Okay, I give you a point with that. You get a point because you don't have to do that, but it's something that so you're not aimlessly sitting in the house beating off the X and X videos or Pornhub. Okay, I got you. Right? What else do you do? Right? And if only thing that revolves around you, your job, and your materialistic things, you gotta go. Like you got to go. And with that, and she's not interested, right? When I learned this, that this does not make you special. You having a car, a job, and your own place. Okay, now you get to compete with the regular other men that are running around in the world.
Yeah.
That's the basic. That is the basic. A job, card, in a house. That's the basic.
So basically, hold on. So you're telling me that you couldn't even get okay, let me get this straight. You are competing against a group of men that are outperforming you without the basics. So you're saying that there are men that don't have a job, a car, and their own house, and they're getting women. But you have a job, a car, and a house, and you're competing against this group of men to get these women, and they don't want you. but you have the basic necessities of life.
Yeah, because someone lied to them.
No,
Someone
you know
told them that's all they needed to get. And women would just go, oh, you have a piece of paper that says you have a degree and you've got your own name on your very own lease. And oh my God, a bucket of bolts for you to drive. Oh my God, I'm there. Please bed me. Right? Like,
then you got to look at it another way, Ruby. The guy without all of that is still getting more women than you. Then the problem is you. You think about it. He's below standards. Getting below standard women that have dropped their standards that low that they would rather propagate and procreate with these men that are not showing no modicum of provisions, and they don't want you.
You know why though? See, DeAndre, because I'm gonna say this though. It's not that they drop their standards, right? If you think about it, right? So if you're one of those people that really you're more relying on your raw animalistic instincts, then all of this stuff we're programmed, i.e. socialized to care about, we didn't evolve to care about pieces of paper that are currency. We didn't, right? We evolved to care about a man who could fight off a lion and survive. Right? We evolved to care about a man who has traits that say he has high testosterone levels and, a good immunity. Right? So that's the thing. It's not that they're dropping their standards. It's just they're falling back from the social training that says, oh, well, the piece of paper is important and this is important and that is important. And I want a man at the end of the day, if there's a zombie apocalypse, right? I'm being real. If there's a zombie apocalypse, that man's going to be able to not only protect us, but be able to bring home food. You know what I mean? And to, pick the right associations to make so we can all survive and, blah, blah, blah. That is what a man is. When we think about really evolution, what did we evolve to want from a man? It's that raw animal instinct of a man who can protect and provide with his own two hands in the cold world, not this society that has basically even the scales for everybody in a way, right? It doesn't matter what your natural this and that, whatever is, you could buy your way into things and you can get a whole bunch of debt to get things and blah, blah, blah. So, I think that what we need to realize is that, sure, and this is why I said they were lied to. Someone lied to them and told them that all this socialized bull is what women evolved to see as being providing. And we did it. And that's why the homosexual, right, is always going to win. There's always a pool who want the homosexual. Why? Because that man, he will beat the hell out of someone who tries to walk up inside the house and disrespect you and him. And he will lay it on good. And hey, he probably will survive the zombie apocalypse, right? So there you go. You give him a couch.
Lay it on good. What is it?
Put it on me, baby.
What is it?
But see, this is why I bring that equation to always bring that equation up when talking to men. P2 times P4 equals P. Peace of mind, a piece for you, a piece for me. P2, provisions squared times providing, protection to the fourth power, right? Whatever you provide, you have to doubly protect it, right? If you look at the movie 300, right? It was women in there. It wasn't a movie about the farmers that risen up. No, it was the movie about the Spartans. You don't think about nobody farming, right? And he even told them, what do you do? I'm a farmer. What are you? I'm a sculptor. We want to protect our women and children. What are you? Oh, I'm a blacksmith. Spartans, what are you? We Spartans. And them dudes had to shut up and go home because this is what we do. Our job is to protect. Your job is to provide provisions. Take your butt back home because you're going to get in the way and get killed. Know your place in life, right?
Right.
And this is the thing, and you're right. And what has told men this? What has put this in these men's head? No, it's not let's talk about these black mamas. It's not that. It's not that. Right? It's not that. It's society as a whole and this push of subversion. But the people that was in charge of the subversion weren't the women. It was the men.
What a turn.
So the reason the women are looking at him like that is because he was lied to while he was worried about his degree, getting out of his mama's house, and only that, and thought women would flock to him. In that course of life, he forgot in its rawest form. And he was told that he didn't have to be a man at the basic form. And men challenge the environment, and you can only challenge something if you are assertive.
Right. You have the confidence, right? I'm telling, I'll just be real. You could have all kinds of things, but if you're the kind of man where we talk about some type of aggressive scenario happening, and you basically tell me that you're going to play possum, play dead, and then call the police because you're just too scared to stand up and defend me, that's not what I'm looking for. I'm going to be real. It's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a man who would tell me, like, as much as I don't agree with guns, right? And y'all are all about your guns. The man who says, yo, I got my gun in here and whatever, you try to come through my door. I like that, right? To me, that is a man protecting and providing me with security. And he has all the confidence in the world that he can. There's no one who could try to broach that door who's going to be bigger, badder, faster, stronger, and more determined than he's going to be to defend his family and his homestead, right? And
you know what? That's a man, Ruby, who is going to be that way regardless of the woman that he's with.
Right. Yes.
And if you come into contact with a man who is like, I don't give a damn who you are and where you come from, I'm a man. When I wake up in the morning, I'm a man. When I go to bed at night, I'm a man, and I'm going to proceed that way. You know, and to be honest, you know, with this dude that wrote the letter, he's not very confident in who he is. And I would, you know, give him the advice that, you know what, you need to be confident in who you are. You being who you are has absolutely shit to do with the women that you're trying to get with. And that's where he is losing. And that's where he is starting to fall into the negative zone, meaning, you know, below zero. He's starting to go to -2, -4, because he's feeling like he's getting to a point where if he gets turned down again by another woman, this dude wants to actually, you know, put brute force upon the woman. It's like, how is that her fault if she's not interested in you? How is that her fault if she's not interested in you? You can't make a woman. This is not the caveman days where you just, you know, club a woman upside her head and you drag her by her hair and you take her to your cave. It doesn't work that way. Dude, you know, have some damn man about you. And, you know, you have to have confidence. And, you know, that doesn't mean that women don't have to have confidence. There are men that are very turned off by insecure women.
Yes.
Which is why men love hoes, because you know what? I don't give a damn how ugly and rundown that hoe is. That hoe is confident about the shit that she got to offer.
Yep. Yep.
Me? She is very confident about the shit she has to offer, and she can get some damn dudes that you'd be like, damn, what he doing with her? She was confident about what she was offering to that dude, and he was willing to take it.
Right.
And that's just what it boils down to.
Yep. Yep. And, you know, I love that you pointed that out, because it's so true. Because you think about some of these women, right? To me, they're just a disaster. Everything, the way they think, the way they move, the way they dress, everything about them is a disaster. But they're never single. They're good. They got a man. They always got a man. They got men chasing them.
I don't know a single hoe to this day. She, you know, she got somebody in her DM. She got somebody in her inbox. She got somebody who is checking for her. And guess what? In all those places, it may not be the same man, but she got somebody in there, because you know what? She has a purpose, and her purpose is survival. And, you know, if you're going to be part of her survival, you're going to be in her in crowd. If you're not part of her survival, she's moving on to the next dude.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. You know, I think it's funny that the confidence thing is such a big thing, and it goes both ways though, right? If you've been walking around, right, lacking confidence, and you keep getting women who keep using you and putting you into the orbiter simp friend category, right? Those are the types of women who look for men like you, right? They're basically, they put a target on your head and they're looking for that kind of insecure man that they can use and then discard when he starts actually having expectations, right? And because men do the same thing to women, right? They look for the vulnerable soul that they can use and abuse and then discard when she starts getting some confidence about herself. And this is why, again, I did say, and I'll say again, you need to work on you. If this is the only kind of woman that you're attracting in, you got to do the work, not to get women, but to fix your confidence levels, to fix your sense of self-worth and, self-efficacy. What do you need to do so that way when you're walking out in the world, that you feel confident and you feel big? You know what I mean? You got that, that BDS, as I said earlier, the big D swag, right? No matter how big your D is, no matter what your job is, no matter what it is, that you think that whatever you got to bring to the table is the best there is in the world. Whatever what your 5-year plan is better than everybody's. The end result's going to be better than everyone's. You got to actually literally live that, breathe that, see that, believe that in order for you to be able to get what you want. And that's going to take some personal internal work. So do that first before you go out there and become the next San Bernardino killer.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, that was a great way to end the show. Both ladies gave their opinion, and I co-sign, and you can go back and listen to the letter. I mentioned a couple of more things to him, but it goes back to look at yourself. Tomorrow, guys, I'm going to have article reactions. Don't forget, 6:30 p.m. tomorrow. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about, because just in case you don't know, we're going to play the commercial on the way out. Have a good night, everyone, and thank you so much for joining. Peace.
Cheers, y'all.
Peace out.
Hey folks, it's your nighttime, it's your right time DJ Music. Make sure you join Char Willie each and every Saturday, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central, for article reaction, right here on your local YouTube channel. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe to Article Reaction.